Welcome back to Factory Sealed. Today, we are starting the brand new Cheese and Pottery podcast. My name is Eric Peterson, and I am joined by Mr. Lord Duke Viscount Earl Daniel, the Baroness and Duchess of Curtis.
What? Fetch me some damn young man.
Daniel.
Oh, hello, Eric. How the devil are you?
Are you ready to put these electronic merriments behind us and venture forward into the wonderful world of cheese and pottery?
I feel that pottery is an art form that more people need to be aware of, Eric.
Quite. That's
feels-
going to do it for this week. We will see you all next week.
What?
In the butt?
So, speaking of ridiculously posh people, I was sat eating breakfast this morning with my parents at a cafe, and Durham, where I live, is kind of a hot spot for posh people to come to university.
I actually don't believe that, but go ahead.
It is. Trust me. I'm just living up here like a scumbag. Just broke into someone's house and squatting.
Oh, okay.
It's got a road through the middle, though, so, you got to take what you can get.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Exactly. And but they were the two poshest girls I've ever heard in my life, and they were just so pretentious. Just going on and on about where they've been, going, oh, I've been to Malaysia and Australia, and I was just like, you shut up and try and eat my bacon. God damn it.
Bring me a biscuit.
But not an American biscuit.
No, that's a cookie, bitch. I need a biscuit. Put some gravy on it.
Oh, man, no.
Didn't we just say like 3 minutes ago that we weren't going to do old man voices?
We did, but it just comes out naturally. I feel like it's a natural progression. In about 5 weeks, we'll just be doing the entire show on that voice.
Jess will become Edna. I'm going to be Chester. You'll be Bert. Tom will still be Jeeves.
Jeeves, fetch me my shoe tonight.
Sir, I do believe. Would you like the Peacemaker or perhaps the Thunderstick?
I'll take both, sir.
Good choice.
Gonna shoot me some numpties.
Terrific.
Wow. Right, let's stop the old man voice. No, we're cultured this week.
No, we're not. The Pottery and Cheese podcast is over. It's on to the video games.
We didn't even talk about cheese.
Well,
we're building up to cheese.
Well, that's next week. We got to leave something for the next show. It's only going to be a 2-episode podcast.
You know it's just going to come on and you're just going to go, cheese is nice.
I like cheese.
I like cheddar.
None of that pushy bitch mild cheddar. We need some real sharp cheddar. I made mac and cheese for lunch yesterday, and on the front of it says, a nice mild cheddar, and I instantly flipped into that voice. I don't need another pushy bitch mild cheddar. I almost threw the damn box away. We've ruined a lot of things for ourselves, and I hope...
We really have.
I hope in the process we've ruined a lot of things for our listeners, too.
Yes, we aim to make your life a worse place.
The one thing I really hope after last week is that every time Scale looks at Australian bacon, now he just sees a big flat dick.
It's not often you see a big flat dick.
Because he wrote it, he's just so proud of his Australian bacon, and we just crapped all over it.
We did, yes.
It looks like a penis. Like someone just cross-sectioned it. Like, all right, we can get 15 slices of bacon out of this one. Ooh, we can only get 2 out of yours. Sorry.
Ooh, burn.
That's an Australian way of insulting someone's penis.
Is it?
I don't know. I've never been there.
I thought they just talked to Skippy and said, got a tiny penis.
They don't have the same voice as us.
Oh my God, dude.
You got to put good day in front of it. Good day, got a tiny penis.
Good day, you got tiny penis. Good G'day, sport.
They don't say sport.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. Maybe when they're talking about sports.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. When do you go to the Outback and burn alive and die?
In 2 weeks tomorrow.
Oh, goodness.
So approaching rapidly.
You're going to be on the show with Matt Ernie then, right?
Is that next week?
That's the 3rd. Yeah.
That's just next week, yes.
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 We're going to play some...
really should start playing Undertale.
Me too. Jess apparently has gotten a lot of time into it, so it's gonna be a real stretch for Tom to finish.
It's gonna be a stretch for me to finish. I've got lots to play at them all.
Yeah.
So I'll try, but
because Tom is still in Vegas.
He's still over there.
Yeah, he's here for 2 weeks.
God, he really is made of money, isn't he?
Well, when you come to America, they just hand you a pile of it.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah.
They take it all away when you get to England.
We'll take 80% of that.
Thank you.
Yes. No, he's back in Vegas. And then leaves tomorrow, I think.
All right.
So
nice long holiday for him.
Next Friday, we're going to do the last episode of the Pope LaCroix show. That last book has taken forever.
Yeah, it's been a while.
December 19th, I think, or 11th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
that's like the gap between old podcast episodes.
I know. But we've had people.
How did you used to do that?
I don't know. It was rough. I mean, we just had a really hard time getting everybody's schedules lined up.
And you have the gallantry to mourn about my scheduling.
Well, I was always ready. It was Aaron and Jess.
Well, Jess is making more of an effort now. He says that she isn't here.
When's the last time she was on?
About 6 years ago.
Okay, I think.
Yeah. So, yesterday I went to see the hotly anticipated Batman vs. Superman.
God. I had a really long conversation with a buddy about this because when they first announced it, he and I did a bunch of chatting about the whole franchise and how it's going to reinvigorate Batman and Superman based on how Man of Steel went, and we were all really excited for it. And I hear it's just a hot turd.
It's really bad. Like, you know how much I love Batman.
Oh, you do?
It's just so disappointing.
Did you go to it by yourself?
No, I actually took Crystal, and Crystal walked out halfway through.
What?
Yep. It's that bad.
She walked... Well, to be fair, she hates movies in general.
No, she doesn't mind Batman that much. She liked the Dark Knight trilogies, but this one is just so tedious. She just went, you know what? No, and just walked out.
So what did she do? Go stand in the lobby?
No, we were at the shopping centre, so she just went shopping while I watched the rest of the film.
Jeez.
Yeah, so, I mean, the thing about it is, the final half hour where everything happens is quite exciting, but up until that point, I felt like I was slowly dying. Because it's just so dull.
See, and there's a pretty split stance on if Affleck is one of the best Batmans or one of the worst.
He's a good Batman, but he's entirely wasted on this film because it's like he spends, I'd say, at least an hour without properly being in the Batsuit, which is just sackless, in my opinion.
And he has, like, exactly 3 emotions?
Yeah. Angry, and angry.
Oh, so 3. But yeah, Bruce Wayne's supposed to be that type of character who's got this charming charisma to him, and apparently Affleck just doesn't capture that at all.
No, I think it's because he's older and grumpy, so... But, like, as you've seen in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler, it's kind of alluded to that Robin's dead because he's got the Joker writing across his suit in the Batcave, but that's never referenced in the entire movie apart from that shot.
Well, and we were talking about that with Justice League, if you've watched any of the Justice League stuff, because doesn't apparently Robin's outfit or costume or whatever you want to call it has the 2 bullet holes in the shoulder, and then doesn't Jared Leto's Joker have 2 bullet holes in his shoulder?
Don't know.
So technically, Joker is Robin.
Well, that would be strange. I'm
going to look that up. I think that's true. Maybe?
I think people just look for tenuous links in the trailers, to be honest. I mean, people look for all these Easter eggs and stuff, and then when the film comes out, it's just kind of like, all right, it's out. It's just... And it's analysed to death, but it was just... I just feel like it was such a waste of good source material.
Apparently Henry Cavill just kind of phoned in his performance and was just kind of a dud.
Well, he was in Man of Steel as well. He's just there for eye candy.
For you?
Yes, for me, yes.
I mean, everybody's got their thing, Daniel.
Saucy.
If Superman's your thing, then...
No, Batman is my thing. Oh, yeah.
It's too bad that the DC movies have just been toilet.
But this was meant to be the start of a revitalization of it, and they've spent a fortune on it. So,
well, they're in a pretty bad spot then if this is the revitalization.
Yep. I mean, it was meant to be like the Avengers and like get loads of films and loads of money, but at this point, if they're spin-offs and their Justice League films are like this, I am not watching them because I never want to see this film again, to be honest.
I was genuinely excited for Batman versus Superman because...
Me too. Been looking forward to it for years.
I've been looking forward to it since the end of the other one, Dark Knight Returns, because... Rises, same thing. Rises, Returns.
Confusing your Batman films.
No, I'm not. Mixing the two together.
Yep.
Because there was that rumor out there of like, hey, how did Bruce Wayne really survive this? Maybe Superman came and saved him, and everyone's like, well, what if there's a Batman and Superman movie? And here we go. I'm like, all right, this is cool, but I didn't expect it to get lashed as hard as it did.
Well, sometimes when critics lay into a film, sometimes I will still like it, but I actually agree with them on this one because it was just... I just feel like a lot of it was filler and just nothing much happening.
Well, apparently there's going to be a director's cut that's like 3.5 hours long.
Oh, so they've cut loads of crap out.
Yeah, and apparently it's just poor editing that caused the movie to be bad.
Yeah, it's just kind of jumps between the characters constantly in different boring scenarios. Like, you know, where you wouldn't want to see them.
Like taking a shit?
Yeah, exactly. It has an extended training montage.
Balancing his checkbook.
Yep.
Shopping for bread. Cutting out little cardboard circles for his daughter's first grade project.
That would be more interesting than this film.
Mashing avocados for guacamole for a football party.
Yeah.
Stuck in traffic.
Just the Batmobile stuck in traffic.
I was just trying to come up with really shitty scenarios.
That's pretty bad. Just reading a book for 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then going back a couple pages because he missed something.
Alfred, I've read this paragraph 3 times.
Alfred, explain it to me. Is Alfred in this?
Yes.
Who plays Alfred?
Jeremy Irons.
Irons or Ironside?
Irons, as in the bad guy from Die Hard 3.
He looks like he'd be a terrible Alfred.
It's a strange Alfred.
Michael Caine was the best one.
Yeah, he was good.
Because he's got that ridiculously posh accent.
That is not a posh accent. That's Cockney.
It's posh. It's posher than Geordie.
Well, yeah, but most things are.
True. So speaking of Geordie, do your family members have like super hardcore Geordie accents?
No, because I'm not from Newcastle.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh.
There are more places.
Well, you associate yourself with Geordie, so.
Well, ish. I have that kind of twang to my voice. But
twang.
not properly. Twang.
Twang.
So, twang. Twang.
Yeah, there's a G on the end. Hit that G.
Twang.
Not twank. Twang.
Twang.
Oh, there's a horse in here.
What the hell? was that?
It's a John Wayne clock that has a horse that comes out instead of a cuckoo bird.
It's the most American thing I've ever heard.
All right.
Do you shoot it when it comes out?
Yeah, we have just a stockpile. Well, I'm not in my office. I'm down in Tucson at my grandparents.
Oh, okay.
For Easter.
Ew, for Easter.
Daniel.
Hello.
Should we do some emails?
We should do some emails.
We have quite a good chunk of emails this week.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone.
We have a new email address. Our old one still works, factorysealed@manatank.com. But if you want to be more direct, you can email us at podcast@factory-sealed.com.
You kept that quiet.
What?
You didn't tell me that.
Well, I just did.
Well, I'm glad I find out at the same time as everyone else. Jesus Christ.
Some things in life are
You'd think you'd get some privileges actually being a cast member, but no.
No, you don't.
Not at all.
I was bored one day, and I'm like, I'm just going to try to get this set up. So,
well, it's about time.
Yes. Or you could shoot us questions on Facebook at facebook.com/factorysealed, or just get them to us in some fashion.
Carrier pigeons are great.
Yeah, snail mail to factorysealed@manatank.com. It probably will never arrive, but I would like it if people would start sending us more voice emails. That got some positive response last week.
Yeah.
Our first email, Dan, is from Mr. Jack Grant, who is constantly asking good questions. He writes, "Hey everyone at Factory Sealed, I want to begin by saying the voice recorded email from last week was amazing. You should definitely encourage those. Would be amazing if we could hear you guys while we are listening." Technically you can. That is part of the Patreon rewards for Factory Sealed Unwrapped, because we both listened to it before the show and responded. But I think moving forward, we'll find a way to do it where we have that as part of the normal show. Sound good?
Yeah, because we can figure that out.
Shh. Don't pull the curtain back too far, Daniel.
Also, a beautiful segue.
Did you like that?
You nearly got away with it.
I was hoping. I honestly am like, I'm going to build this segue. It's going to be really good, and Daniel's not going to catch it because he's a bit thick. But you caught it.
I'm not as stupid as you think.
You're not as dumb as I tell people.
Just as dumb as a bang of hammers.
Now the question. If you could live anywhere in the world, stress-free, no visas, etc., where would you live and why? Personally, I would choose Canada. Everyone there is so friendly and the country is just so peaceful. As always, keep up the great work.
Yes, we'll all go to Canada and live in Jess's house.
No, because they don't have guns there.
Oh, God forbid. Well, I would make my own island and call it Curtisopolis.
You do know that I'm not going to delve too much into the English nerd in me, but that's not how the naming works.
It's my island. I will name it what I want.
Are you going to build a giant sprawling city?
I'm going to build an island.
I know, but atop that island, will there be a sprawling city?
No, there will be a giant statue of me.
Okay, then it can't be an opolis.
Yes, it can.
It cannot.
It's my island.
What's this island going to be made of?
Synthetic fibers and the sweat and tears of hard-working youngsters.
Oh, so you're going to build it on child slave labor?
No, not really.
Oh.
I meant me.
Oh, so you're going to cry while you're building your own private island?
Yes, because it would be so beautiful.
Oh.
Where would you live, Eric?
Aside from my own island built from tears? Where would I live? Probably the moon. I mean, I don't think
not much there.
Yeah, I don't think I'd last very long. But, I mean, if we don't have to worry about visas or anything like that.
Oxygen.
Well, I mean, that's secondary to the visa.
Breathing.
Food,
actual places to live.
I really didn't think...
any form of useful resource.
I really didn't think that one through.
No.
Oh, man.
I would quite like to live in Tom's mansion as well.
How about... Like, honestly, I would say probably one of the Scandinavian countries.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because you're from Wisconsin and like the cold?
Well, it's because I'm Norwegian. It's in my blood.
Ew.
I feel the call of the motherland.
Don't let the Vikings in.
The motherland is calling me home.
I don't know.
Velkommen backen. That's Norwegian for welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Is it like Italian where you just add an A on the end of every word?
And a V at the front. Let's see. Next email comes from Brianna. This one is entitled Dear Dan.
Oh, God.
This is Daniel's love letter from the week.
Oh, God.
So our listener, Brianna Miller, writes in, Dear Daniel, Vita is the shit, so sit on it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, she called you out, son. But seriously, hi Factory Seal crew, thank you for Red Faction. I'm excited to start on it. A question for you. What is your favorite crafting system and which one drove you bonkers? Couldn't get into Minecraft, mostly because of the crafting system, but I do like the systems for the Atelier series and Flame in the Flood. Hope you guys have a great episode. Bree and Miller.
Tricky. I don't know if I've played many crafty games.
Well, I think we can expand upon that. I think she just meant crafting system. When I think of that, I think of like Skyrim when you're building weapons and things like that.
See, I don't really bother with that kind of stuff much. It's too cumbersome.
I keep coming back to this, and it's probably just... I don't want to say it's just my safe go-to, but it's really just that good. But the weapon crafting systems from the Dark Cloud and Rogue Galaxy game.
Yep, very much like that one. But at the same time, I hate the factory crafting system from Rogue Galaxy.
Well, I don't hate it. It's just difficult.
It's just needlessly difficult, though.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool, but the implementation is just terrible.
The town crafting from Dark Cloud 2 is awesome. I just never could, like her, I never could get into Minecraft, ever.
I haven't even tried it. I have no interest.
No.
Once again, not really into these crafty kind of games, so...
Brian writes in, subject title, Flaccid Nostalgia Bone.
Excellent.
This is going to start well. He says, hey, Factory Seal crew, just a quick question this week. Which one of these makes your nostalgia bone flaccid faster? Replaying an old game that you loved while growing up, but realizing it sucks now that you are an adult? Or watching a beloved game franchise get put through the modern reboot remake process so that it no longer resembles what it once was and becomes more generic? Example, Bullfrog Syndicate versus EA's remake.
Well, we played the demo of that and we absolutely sucked.
Well, let's be honest. We suck at most things.
We do, yes.
I'd
have to say probably the first one here.
Well, I don't know. I think nostalgia can overcome the fact that an old game kind of sucked. I mean, let's face it. A lot of games that we played as kids and really liked, if we go back and play them now, they kind of suck. But since we played them so much as a kid, we look at them and go, I still enjoy this because you enjoyed it as a kid.
Yeah, well, we've had this before where we've gone back and played things we haven't played when we were kids, like Sonic Adventure, and it was terrible. So you got a point there.
So I would have to say the second one, watching the game franchise get put through the modern reboot.
Yeah, that can be bad.
I guess trying to think.
I mean, how many times has that happened?
That's true, because most of the really prolific retro games have just carried on. So no, I'm going to change my answer to the first one because it does happen. Were you?
I mean, it was me physical pain, I must admit.
What does?
Sonic 06.
Yeah, but did you ever enjoy it?
No.
Okay. I don't think Sonic can be considered
Never.
the modern reboot because he's just continually crapping himself forward through history.
Yeah, but that was meant to be a reboot.
But it was the start of his final downfall.
Yeah, it was just shite.
He has a couple postscripts, a post-postscript, and a post-post-postscript. So,
Well, that's a lot.
his postscript, also known as PS. Eric, have you played Dark Mouse? M-A-U-S. Like Salt and Sanctuary, it is a Souls game, though in isometric view instead of a 2D platformer. No, I have not, but I am going to look it up right this moment so I don't forget. Oh, shit. That looks pretty sweet. Okay, we'll talk about some Salt and Sanctuary after emails. Daniel,
Hello.
you have a postscript. It says, Dan, if you are at the Opera House during your Australian holiday, I recommend walking to the opposite side of Circular Quay. Then go through the rocks and then west to Observation Hill Park. Are you taking notes?
You've said that way too quickly.
There, you can take pretty nice photos of the Harbor Bridge without having to deal with the multitude of tourists at the Opera House.
It's all right. I'll just elbow them out of the way.
Bonus points for bringing a picnic blanket and food or getting really drunk and crashing any wedding ceremonies that happen at the park.
I'm trying not to get arrested while I'm in Australia, but I'll see what I could do.
Postscript. I sit to wipe so that I can keep reading while wiping.
Oh, man. Why did we even start this?
That's Jack Grant's fault. He signs off. Sincerely, Useleg.
Excellent.
Damn it, Jack. I think
This is going to haunt us forever.
I think it was Jack that started that.
The factory sealed toilet seat stand versus sit debate podcast.
We could build a whole debate on that, or a whole new show.
It's going to be a university course before you know.
The benefits of sitting versus standing.
Maybe that's our calling in life, to find out which is better.
I'm pretty sure I could get a government grant to research the most effective way to wipe.
Probably it's America.
Yeah. I could just eat a bunch of food and poop all day and just write down my observations.
Correct.
We have an email from a new listener.
Hooray!
At least I haven't seen any of his emails come through before.
News.
His name is John Poole. He writes in, Hey Factory Sealed Crew, this is JP wishing to ask Dan a question about Sonic.
Oh man, everybody wants me this week.
Well, Brianna didn't want you, so let's be fair.
You built that email
I did build it up
all week. I was excited. You did, yes. But I knew you were being sarcastic because that's... Right, so Sonic, yes?
Oh yeah. He says, in my childhood, the only 3D Sonic game I ever played was Sonic Heroes. Hearing you talk about the difference between Sonic Generations and Sonic Adventures, I wondered where Heroes falls in the 3D Sonic spectrum. My childhood memories of it are quite good, and I need Dan to crush my childhood. In all seriousness, I remember I loved playing as Sonic and Shadow and hated anything involving Tails and the vampire. The camera, though, is what stands out in my memory as the worst. It killed me so many times. All right, almost forgot about Knuckles and the robot. Yeah, don't remember anything about them. I wonder why that is. Ending things off, thanks for the podcast, and can't wait to listen to next week's episode. He wrote a follow-up email. This is JP again. I forgot to mention how much I hate the opening tune to Sonic Heroes. To this day, it will still get stuck in my head when anyone sings the word heroes. That is all.
Do people often sing the word heroes?
I don't know. Heroes! And then it gets stuck in his head.
I don't think that's ever happened to me, but yes, I will gladly shit all over Sonic Heroes because it is a terrible game.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
Well,
Sonic Heroes is the one where you have 3 characters to control at the same time, which is even worse than controlling one character.
So is that a lot like the Lost Vikings?
No, because what happened to that video? Where's that gone?
Shh, just keep talking about Sonic Heroes.
I can't remember much about it apart from being really janky and really crap. So
It looks crap.
I mean, you have like the character, like on Final Fantasy VIII where the characters follow each other.
Uh-huh.
It's like that. And then you can swap between them at different times, and you have to use the characters' different abilities to get up certain places, and it's just tedious and
Wait,
annoying.
so if you have to switch to another character to get past a certain point, but the other characters will just follow you, that there implies that the other characters can do what the first character did, so why would you need to switch between the characters?
I think, for example, there's one character who can fly, and then he carries the other 2 characters, I think. But I can't remember much about it because I didn't play much of it because it is pants.
Pants. That's it for emails. If you want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com or the new podcast at factory-sealed.com.
You're going to confuse people, Eric.
I'm giving them 2 options. Because eventually we're going to switch to just using podcast at factory-sealed.com. But there needs to be that segue.
Oh, shit.
Also, you're really bad at spelling segue. It's not Segway. That's the motorized doodad that you ride around.
Oh.
The segue in a conversation is Segue.
Don't really use it much, do you?
I use it all the time.
Apart from on here.
I use it every day. I probably say segue 4 or 5 times a day.
It's because you're a douchey asswipe.
Well, I just let people know, like, hey, guys, I'm about to start a segue into a new conversation.
You got to announce those segues.
And then every time I do, everyone around me goes like, oh! Yeah.
It's going to catch on.
Daniel.
Hello.
Let's take about 5 minutes and talk about Salt and Sanctuary. Mainly because I want you to admit to me that I was right.
You're going to admit to me that I was right about changing the emails to the start of the show that we get more of them?
No.
Then I'm not going to do that.
Okay, yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good recommendation. I like it a lot.
It was one of those things that just kind of popped up, and I started reading some reviews about it. It was not really on my radar at all, but when the PlayStation Store updated on Tuesday, I saw it, and I went, this looks interesting. So I popped up some reviews, and the first one I read was from Polygon, who's notoriously hard on games, and they gave it a 9. So I started reading through it, and the long and short of it was there have been a lot of games that claim to be Dark Souls or Dark Souls-like. You know how the whole roguelite has entered the gaming realm. People are starting to create Souls-like games, and these developers have just flat out said, yeah, you know what? We took a lot of inspiration from it. I mean, it almost looks identical. It looks like it could have been made by From Software.
My God, Eric, took inspiration and plagiarism are a very different thing.
It's like, how close can we get to copyright infringement without just directly copying it? But they do such a good job.
Well, and before we get properly into this, we should explain it. If you haven't heard of Salt and Sanctuary, it's basically somebody's taken Dark Souls and turned it into a 2D game. And it's really, really, really interesting. So
it plays super well, too. It's rock hard. I mean, on par with difficulty of Demon Souls and Dark Souls.
Yeah, it's one of those games, again, where you get stuck at a boss forever and you have to step away from it. I mean, before we started the podcast, I was playing it and I'm fighting a dragon and I just can't kill it and I just driving me crazy.
I would say it's on the same frustration level as Bloodborne. I found Bloodborne a lot harder than any of the Dark Souls games that I played.
Yeah.
And this game is just as difficult as Bloodborne. So even if we were to say nothing else and just say it is 2D Dark Souls, that would be the most accurate description of this game. And you could walk into it knowing full well what to expect. Right down to when you create your character at the beginning, you choose a random item that you have no idea what it does. It may have a big effect. It may have zero effect whatsoever. And you have to choose...
there's all kinds from Dark Souls in here, though. I mean, there's the guy, you can find the guy who absolves your sins of Dark Souls. He's there.
Yep.
You can put messages down which say, praise the salt.
Little bottles.
Yeah. There's like kind of Estus flasks of Dark Souls. There's blacksmiths.
Water of blessing.
Yep. All the items do similar things to that of Dark Souls. The weapons are similar. I mean, I've just found the tower shield of Dark Souls.
The attack... Oh, there's the heater shield.
Yeah.
It is almost shot-for-shot Dark Souls. Even the way you do attacking, you've got your regular attack, you've got a strong attack, but then you can charge each one up. You can riposte or riposte, however you want to pronounce that, and do insta-kills.
Yep.
And when you get to a sanctuary, all the enemies respawn. You get 4 waters of healing that serve as your Estus flasks. The only thing that's really cool that is not directly lifted from Dark Souls is the leveling system. Yes, so when you kill an enemy, they drop 2 things. They drop salt, and then what's the yellow stuff called?
Coins, Eric.
Those are just straight up coins?
I think it's gold, isn't it?
Okay. So it might be. But either way, you use the salt to level up, and along with that, you can unlock dark spheres. So every time you level up, you get a dark sphere that you can go to actually improve your stats. So instead of just choosing a stat you want to increase, they take you to a grid that looks very similar to the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X.
It is almost identical
to
that. The way it works,
but it's really cool.
They've stole 2 things from 2 games here.
Well, it's a unique meshing of the two because it actually forces you to build your character in a certain direction. Once you get too far in that direction, you're like, I really can't go back the other way now.
But you can take them off if you want.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, you can.
What character did you choose?
Just the warrior, I think.
I think I went with a knight.
I mean, when I played Dark Souls, I don't think I've ever done a Dark Souls playthrough where I've used magic.
Well, in Demon Souls and in the first Dark Souls, magic was pointless. In Dark Souls 2, magic was pretty good.
I feel better with a melee build than a magic build. I don't know why.
Yeah. Huh.
I've got up to the bit where I found out what those obelisk things do, by the way.
Okay. So
but I won't tell you.
The part where I was confused is that there's that first big castle that you go through and you fight the Sodden Knight at the top, and then you get a key that goes straight down. Well, instead of going all the way down, I came across the dark cavern, and I didn't know that I had torches to light. So I'm like, well, I guess I can't go here yet. So I went to the right, out of the castle to the right, and fought my way across that area over there. And I'm sitting there thinking, these enemies get really hard really quick. And fought my way through a couple of the sanctuaries and got to the end where the guy was like, oh, you got to go back where you came from. Like, what the hell are you talking about? So that's where I got stuck. And then I realized I had torches.
You can also get a charm for the end of your weapon, which glows in the dark.
Oh, shit. Yeah, so I died on the Queen of Smiles last night. She wasn't too difficult, but I got her down to, she had just a hair of health left, and I had maybe a quarter health. But every time she'd hit me, even if I'm blocking, it would still chip some health away. And I thought I had more healing flasks, but all I had were the red shards, which really slowly increase it. So in the time it took me to drink it, she hit me and killed me. So if I would have just turned around and hit her once, I would have won. But
oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. Because now what's going to happen is I'm not going to get her down that low again for like 30 more tries.
Yeah, you need to, she's weak against arcane magic, so if you've got one of those pages that you can use to coat your weapon, which I think you get just before you fight her, you can do loads of damage. Just spam your strong attack.
Huh. I'll have to give it a shot.
And what weapon are you using?
The heater shield and the spear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the spear is super good.
I've actually upgraded mine to a trident now.
So technically still a spear.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you get, at a certain point, you get a person who can transmute your weapons into different things. So
did you do any leveling up with your weapon, like increasing it?
Yeah, it's like trident level 3 at the moment or something. Doing if I do the strong attack, usually I think it hits twice and does about 60 damage per hit at this point.
Huh.
So it can kill basic enemies in 1 or 2 hits, but I've just got to a section in a castle where it has you remember off Anor Londo on Dark Souls where they have the giant enemies with the shields?
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are there.
Oh shit.
So they are very difficult.
Wow.
I haven't beat one yet and they keep killing me. So I just ran past them in the end.
Yeah, there have been a few spots where I just charged through. It's super good. Like, surprisingly good for how cheap it is too. It's only $17.99 on PSN, and from the looks of it, it's pretty enormous.
It is. I mean, how many bosses is there? You say 19 or something?
19 with 5 or 6 optional bosses.
I've only done
3?
5 of the bosses, I think.
Oh shit! I've only done 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I've done the Sodden Knight, then the Queen of Smiles, and there was a false jester he was called or something. Then there's a mad alchemist, and then I found a dragon to fight as well.
Huh.
But a lot of the bosses I've found just spamming the strong attack and get a lot of damage done.
Well,
when they get below about half health, they start to seem to up the game and attack more.
Yeah, I really like that because you kind of have to stockpile your potions.
It's weird though because on Dark Souls, obviously you've got the 3D plane, so you can move more. But on this, you're kind of limited by how you can move.
Well, there is a pseudo 3D plane. It's almost a little bit like Little Big Planet, where you've got 3 tracks or 3 lanes that you can move between. So if there are stairs, you'll naturally just go up the stairs, but if you hold down, you'll stay in front of the stairs and go forward, or you can drop down below the floors or jump up. Maybe not 3 lanes, maybe 2 at most.
You found any secret areas yet?
No. I'm seriously only like an hour and 15 minutes in. I had to...
Okay, a little tip for you. If you press circle against certain walls, it opens secret areas.
Oh. I was wondering what circle did.
That, apparently.
Yeah.
But somebody had put a bottle down on the floor and it said secret here, and I was like, there's nothing here, and I just tapped all the buttons and it opened the door. And I was like,
Interesting. Well, Daniel, should we talk about our game for this week?
We should.
We were supposed to...
After much debate.
Yeah, we were supposed to do Mario Tennis and Golf to appease Jess, but since she's not here, we decided to play something else.
We did.
And we finally settled on Heart of Darkness, and I was positive that you were just going to phone it in this week and not play it because you couldn't get it to work.
Nope, I got it to work in the end.
What was your trick?
Persevered. I used the plugin that you had.
Oh.
I think I had an out-of-date plugin.
Yeah.
As Heart of Darkness, for reasons, is not on the PS Store.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I feel like this one definitely should be on there. We'll get into that. So, Heart of Darkness is kind of a platformer / movie.
It's kind of an adventure game as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of cinematic storytelling sequences. Developed by a studio called Amazing Studio, published by Ocean Software and Interplay. Came out in 98. And it's the genre is technically classified as cinematic platformer.
Okay.
Which makes sense because there are a load of cutscenes in this game. Do you want me to go through the quick plot, or do you want to do it?
You can do it.
All right. So you follow this boy named Andy. At the beginning of the game, he's being berated by an abusive teacher. School ends. He runs out with his dog named Whiskey.
I think we need to stop there, by the way. The abusive teacher literally locks him in a cupboard.
This is like the American 50s. I mean, it works. So Andy loves his dog, has... What's the fear of dark called? Nyctophobia?
Scared of the dark.
Okay. Well, for the uneducated, scared of the dark. So Andy and Whiskey go out to a park to watch a solar eclipse, as instructed by the teacher for homework. During that eclipse, for some reason, Andy's dog, Whiskey, is teleported into the sky.
Yeah, I didn't get that bit.
It just disappears into the moon. So Andy runs home. He's got this super high-tech tree house. Andy's a tinkerer. He's got a bunch of inventions, and apparently he has a spaceship that he jumps into, takes off to go.
Just handily there in case you don't get stolen by the sun.
Yeah, just in case. So he jumps into the spaceship to go and find Whiskey, and in the process finds himself in the Dark Land, which is part of the Heart of Darkness. So now you need to make your way through all of these levels to find your dog. That is the gist of the game. You're trying to rescue your dog.
Yeah. Who appears to have been kidnapped by a snot monster and an evil Dark Lord.
And who wears a sideways baseball cap.
Yes.
Yes. That's the gist of the story. I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to the story because it was really hard to glean what that story was, aside from my dog's missing, I'm going to get him. Here are the 8 levels that I have to get through.
I felt like, because of the time, the voice acting wasn't the best as well, and it was a bit drowned out by other things occasionally. So
yeah, the leveling was off.
Yeah.
The cinematics were fantastic. I mean, yeah, they're early computer graphics, but still, the cinematics were great. They were long, too.
Yeah, it's actually a 2-disc game because of this. It's not a long game, but because the cinematics are so, well done and long, then the game is 2 discs. It's strange.
Well, that first cinematic probably crested into the few minutes.
Yeah.
So the game's broken down into 8 levels. Between each level, there's a little bit of a plot dump, and I think between every level, there's at least some sort of cutscene.
Well, the cutscenes usually involve Andy getting picked up by something that flies and then being dropped. Yes.
To another location.
He spent most of the game falling off things.
The gameplay itself is very difficult. This game, I don't think this game could be classified as easy in any sense of the word. And now that I played through it, we definitely did attempt to play this a few years back, but I never really put a whole lot of effort into it and never made it past the second screen in the first level because it's just you know what, I don't have time for something like this. So the platforming element of it is pretty simple. Andy's got, at the beginning of the game at least, he's got an electricity gun. He lands in this big cavern, and there are these shadows called specters that are trying to attack him. He can use his electricity gun to destroy them. You can shoot in all directions. They jump, avoid your shots, so sometimes you need to crouch, shoot on the ground. But they're super aggressive. They'll charge at you, tear you apart. It's a pretty violent death that he suffers from most anything that touches him in this game. He either falls off a cliff, gets eaten by worms, crushed, or torn apart and has his guts eaten.
Yeah, because considering he's like a child character as well, it's pretty brutal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, technically it's all in his head, so he's imagining the worst. But
spoilers.
Sorry. We're going to spoil the game anyway. Let's just be honest.
So it was in his head?
We'll get to that.
Okay, you said it first.
Sorry, we'll get to it. Progressing through each of the levels is pretty straightforward, except there are certain elements within the levels that you have to find a way to interact with, and I think what I didn't pay enough attention to the first time through, mainly because back then we were trying to play through 2 or 3 games a week or per show. You can shoot different parts of the environment and cause certain things to happen. So at the beginning, you shoot that big dinosaur bone and it comes crashing down and opens up a new level. It's just experimenting with the level that you're in, but everything looks so good because it's all not pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah, it's kind of like Abe, isn't it?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. I felt I did a lot of climbing on this game.
Tons. And a lot of it required precise timing.
Yeah, you have to climb and jump between different things and then press X to grab onto a new section while you're climbing. And then as it gets further on, you have to progress to things like lava and these horrible spider things that do goo, which knocks you off the wall, and it just gets really annoying.
So let's get this question out of the way. Did you utilize the built-in save feature and play the game legitimately, or did you give in and start using save states?
First disc, played it through normally. Second disc, it got ridiculously hard, so I had to use save states.
Okay, that's exactly how I did it too, because the first disc wasn't very hard. I think I pounded through the first disc in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It was not long at all. I think a lot of the disc was taken up by that first cutscene. But after that, it just got, everything was so unbelievably precise that if you died, it wouldn't take you too far back, but it'd take you back far enough to be annoying, because they'd put 2 or 3 really precise sections right in a row.
Yeah, and you had to get through each of the sections without dying to get to the next checkpoint. And it was just like, oh no.
Well, like
so
in the second level, there are those, when you're crawling through the swamps, and there are the flying specters above you, and you had to walk and then duck as they dove down to get you. But then there'd be little sections where you couldn't duck under the water, so you had to time it where as soon as they dive down to get you, you get up and then slodge your way across and just get far enough over the hump where you can duck down under the water again. And if you're not quick enough, or if any part of you's sticking above the water, they'll get you, and then you have to do 3 more screens of that again.
Yeah, and at this point, you don't have your electricity gun anymore because it's been eaten by a monster.
Oh, yeah.
Which, so by this point, you're actually weaponless for a while. And then you go through the swamp without a weapon, I think, and then you end up in some caves underwater. And then Andy, for some reason, is like a fish and can breathe underwater.
Oh, yeah, because you drop off that cliff at the end, and there's that huge monster that, when you're dangling upside down from the rope, took me like 5 or 6 deaths to figure out that you could move back and forth. I'm like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Oh, come on. First go.
No way. I don't believe you.
Yeah, I did.
Don't believe you.
You should.
But it was cool, though, because like the animations on the sprites are really well done. There's a lot of fluidity to how like skin moves or fabric moves. They did a really good job with it.
Yeah, it doesn't have a cinematic quality to it.
Yeah, everything does. So when he grabs that stick and crams it in his mouth, the creature starts struggling, and then you have to swim away from it. It's a pretty tense moment because he gets closer and closer, and just by the time you make it to the land, he's right there ready to eat you. But there's that cutscene afterwards that you meet probably one of the dumbest characters I've met in a recent game. His name's Amigo, and he's this...
Is Amigo his name, or is that the race of people?
I think it's both. The guy
they just say Amigo for everything.
Well, but if it's a girl, it's Amiga.
Can we speak about the girls, by the way? I'm pretty sure they had their tits out.
Pretty sure they did do, because they were natives.
Yep.
So they're a really poor representation of like a tribal group of people in the middle of a rainforest, but they looked like retarded.
They live on an upside down island.
Oh yeah, how cool was that?
That was cool.
Where you fly towards it and then the gravity shifts.
Yeah. But
they're not very intelligent. They're ugly as all get out. And so Amigo drops you into this huge lake, like you said, and suddenly you have the power to breathe underwater, but you actually don't. Did you ever run out of air and drown?
No.
I did.
Not once.
So as I got towards the end...
I assumed you did, because there's air pockets.
See, I skipped all the air pockets. I'm like, well, I'm just breathing underwater, whatever. So as I got towards the end, when I'm exhaling, the bubbles would start to make a skull and crossbones face in the water. I'm like, this isn't good. But you swim down to this rock, and you get a magic power where you can start shooting. You have like a super attack with triangle or circle for a basic attack, and this takes the place of your electricity gun. So your super attack can do things like break stones or grow seeds or shrink seeds, and your basic attack is just for fighting enemies. There was a really annoying bit here where you had to kick a seed, and then it would float across the water, and then you had to jump across, and then when you jump, you land directly on the seed, But if you moved, the seed would bounce back and go across the water, and you had to die and restart. Did you fall into that little circle?
A little bit.
The only way I found a way to get through that was I'd land on the seed, but if you'd use your power too close to the wall, it'd push you back a couple steps. Mm-hmm. So I figured that out without moving the seed, and then grow the seed, and it takes you.
The seed has to go along to knock another seed off, doesn't it?
Yes,
and stuff like that.
But the underwater maze was pretty frustrating because you had these amoebas, not amoebas, anemones that would reach down and pull you in, so you had to avoid those. Then you also had these giant sucking blobs that would either blow you in one direction or suck you in towards them, and you had to avoid those while avoiding...
Oh, yeah.
Good one.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you. Put that telly on the penis jar.
That's one this week. There was a bit at the end that was very similar to some of the frustrating sections of Abe's Exodus where you're just running from the specters.
Where at?
After the underwater maze.
Can't remember that.
It's just flat out running from all the specters as quick as you can.
Okay. That happened a few times.
Yeah. But then my favorite cutscene in the whole game is next, where this is
excellent.
This is where Amiga takes you to the Upside Down Island, the land of his people. Apparently they are short on food, so Andy uses his power to create a fruit tree for them, and in the process, he begs them for their help, breaking into the darkness to save Whiskey. So they said, okay, since you grew some fruit for us, we'll do this for you. And there's a super old chief who makes no attempt at hiding the fact that he's hitting a giant bong to activate what he calls his vision eye, which is just this goofy half-dead eye on the side of his face. And then he's like, my eye has shown me something. And he holds up a picture of Andy, and he's like, I drew you as a stick figure, and claiming this was his vision along. And then he holds up this picture of a really busty Amiga, and he starts screaming, wrong dream, and stuffs it away.
It was excellent, that guy.
Oh man, that cutscene was so good. But then he says, you know, there's evil out there, and you mustn't leave, and because evil never comes here. And he stands up and he goes, I have spoken. And as soon as he says that, the wall behind him immediately explodes with specters. He kind of has this look on his face like, oh, I guess they do come here.
He's a great guy. Best part of the game, I think.
Oh, hands down, that cutscene was the best. Activate my vision.
Just a retarded, stoned idiot, basically.
The stick figure piece of Andy was so bad, and then he's got this really elaborately drawn, busty Amiga picture. Like, wrong tree!
Hey, amigos!
Hey! It's borderline racist.
Yes.
I mean, it's making fun of the Spanish.
It has drugs.
Mm-hmm. After that, you go to Space Island, where you are introduced to probably the most obnoxious enemy in the game with those grubs.
Yeah, they are annoying.
This level had a ton of climbing and worms, so you're climbing around on the rock face, and there are worms that are popping out. And every time you go to shoot them, as soon as they see that you're about to shoot, they go back into the hole. So you have to time it so that you shoot before they come out and just hope you hit them.
But they can come from anywhere.
Yeah. Even if there's not a hole there, they'll still come out.
It's just, if you don't react in that split second, you're dead.
Yep. This one, I mean, none of these levels were particularly long. I would say no more than 15, 20 minutes per level, depending on how many times you had to redo a section. But there was one bit in this one that just made no sense. You get to a part where you're avoiding some of the worms, and you drop down, and there's this boulder that you have to push. But instead of pushing the boulder, you have to push the boulder's shadow. Like you're very clearly not pushing the boulder.
But at this point, the shadows start to attack you as well.
That's always that was something that they did at the very beginning too, where there'd be shadows along the back wall that would attack you, and in order to get rid of that enemy, you had to destroy what was creating that shadow.
Oh, is that why I kept falling off the cliff? I did wonder.
Yeah, so at the beginning there was that dinosaur bone that there was an enemy.
Oh, right. Makes sense now. Thank you.
Yeah.
You come in handy occasionally, my friend.
It's not often, but when I do, it's kind of helpful.
Good.
This one, I had a note about a really annoying section of climbing to avoid spiders and worms at the same time.
Is that when the spiders start doing the goo?
Yes.
Or is that later?
No, that's...
The goo stuff can piss off because that's just so annoying.
Well, there's 4 or 5 spiders that drop goo that makes you fall. You can catch yourself again if you fall. Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay. So not only are you avoiding that, trying to kill the spiders, you're also trying to avoid worms on the same screen. Super frustrating.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get through that. But the spiders dodge your attacks as well.
Yeah, so you basically just have to sit and spam one direction and hope they walk over it.
Yeah, but if you get close to them, you can hit them because then they can't shoot the goo anymore. But getting close to them because of the goo is tricky.
Because of the worms.
Yeah.
Next level was the Rivers of Fire. Really kind of straightforward with this one. It was just jumping over pits of lava and avoiding lava eruptions. But then there's a cutscene after that where Amiga reveals that suddenly, for some reason, the Amigos can't touch the ground. When they do, they turn to shadow, so you enter a new plot point of you need to get this magic rock.
Which is from before, when Andy got the power.
Yes, but what is that? Like, how can they just suddenly not touch the ground?
I think it's only in the Dark World, like, because they live in the other island.
Oh.
And then if they touch the darkness, they turn to the darkness.
Yeah. So the next level where you have to raise the magic rock was probably the shortest one. It was maybe 5 minutes long, 10 minutes, provided you didn't get crushed by absolutely everything.
But I did.
Oh, man. That level was... This is where I really had to start employing save states.
Yeah.
Because if you died, it took you so far back. It was like...
You're talking like a split-second reaction, otherwise you get squashed.
Yeah. I think it was... It's a lot like that Mega Man level where... well, you probably wouldn't know, so this reference will be lost on you.
Yep, will.
Where you have to avoid the lava beams coming out of all the levels or out of the sides of the level for like 5 or 6 screens, and it's just absolute precise timing. Mm-hmm. There was one bit that I got stuck on for a while where there was a seed there. I'm like, how do I get past this? And then it finally dawned on me, like, oh, grow the seed, and it stopped that brick from coming to crush you and gave you enough time to stand on the platform and drop.
Yeah, I remember that.
But
I figured that one out quite quickly again.
Oh, well, get you.
Yes, I'm very good at this.
The last bit of this before you raise the rocks was just standing there fighting loads and loads and loads of specters. Those little bits got a little annoying. I feel like that was kind of cheap that they threw in towards the end was just, oh, hey, let's just...
Yeah, because they come from both sides, and one of them could just rush out and kill you at any moment if it wants to.
Well, and then they fly above you, and they'll pick you up and drop you into the pile of people. So it just was all really precise, and I don't mind that, but the extent to which they started to use these throughout the rest of the game got a little frustrating.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Next level, the Hunt for Whiskey, they introduced a new enemy called the Armored Warrior.
Oh, these are annoying.
Screw these guys. It took me a while to figure out how to kill them because the first one that you encounter is a single armored warrior with a bunch of specters behind him. And if you shoot him enough times with your regular weapon, he breaks apart into 2 little clay globs on the ground. But if you don't kill those gray globs fast enough, they'll respawn into 2 new armored warriors that if you kill them, they both drop 2 more. So they can exponentially grow. And you can very quickly be in a very bad spot.
Yeah, you have to get them quickly. But it's especially bad when later on there's 2 of them at once.
Yes, and there's specters around because the specters will take the damage, and if you somehow accidentally kill the armored warrior and then still have a bunch of specters on the ground, you have no hope of hitting those globs.
No, these armored warriors also attack you with fire, so you have to either duck or jump over their fire attacks, and it's just because there's so much going on the screen, it's hard to keep track of what's happening.
Yes. very much, and that comes into play a lot in the final boss battle too.
Yeah.
There was one part where you climb down a ladder, and there's a wall with a little gap at the bottom, and there's one armored warrior, and then that wall above has handholds, but it's filled with worms, and you can't make it across. And you have to crawl down to the bottom of the ladder and shoot that armored warrior at like a downward angle to create 2 armored warriors. And then as soon as there are 2, for some reason, the worms will go after them, giving you just enough time to squeeze through that top.
It doesn't tell you this at all, because the worms at this point just pop out when you get near them.
Yep.
But at this section, if you try and go across the wall, just instantly they kill you. There's no break. They just kill you. So you have to do this.
I really liked that mechanic. I thought that was really clever to start using the enemies against each other. It had a very Oddworld feel to it again.
Yeah, but at the same time, I felt like it was just kind of out of left field, and because you'd already been introduced to that enemy, it was like it took me ages to figure it out.
Yeah. It's a natural progression of a game, though, to like, okay, here's an enemy, here's a couple situations with him, let's throw a new situation in with him.
Yeah, but I don't know, I'm not a fan.
The last 2 levels of this game were super frustrating. Like, I found myself just going, okay, let's just get this done. Because they were long. Really long.
Yeah, I actually stayed up till 2:15 in the morning just to finish it.
Oh, God.
Because I thought it was wrapping up, and then there's an entire another section. I was like, do I go to bed?
Did you have work the next day?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
No, actually it was on Thursday before I was off. So
I think one of the last levels, you get... This pink dude shows up. Like what's his name?
Don't know.
The something servant? Vicious servant?
Is it?
I don't know. I think I read that somewhere.
I just call him the pink naked snock guy.
What's his role?
Pink naked snock guy.
Like, is he trying to appease the Dark Lord?
I don't know, because again, the voice acting is so drowned out.
And it's really choppy storytelling too.
Yeah.
So you don't really get a whole lot of info. But anyway, you get captured, you find whiskey, and then you immediately get thrown into this cell. And how long did it take you to figure out how to get out of the cell?
Straight away.
Just figured it out.
Yep.
Go ahead.
There's a seed in there, right?
Above you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I found by this point of the game, when I was going through the levels, I would basically shoot everything to make sure that anything wasn't there. So I think that's why I figured it out.
Okay. Well, this part was kind of dumb. Because you shoot a hole through the ceiling, brings the seed down, grow the seed, climb out, walk over to the right. You push a boulder into the hole. That boulder chases the pink guy into the cell that you just came out of, and it acts like, oh, hey, he's stuck in this cell now. But there's a giant ladder there for him to get out of.
Yeah. And there's the bars are made of snot, weirdly.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
I just thought it was some sort of creature.
I think it's snot because he's like always snotty.
Oh, because he's kind of like a little pink man with an elephant nose.
Yeah.
But at this point, the magic rock has been destroyed. You lose your power, and now you just have to run away from all enemies. There's a part where you fall down a hole and you get eaten by the monster from the first level that ate your gun.
That was cool. I like this bit.
That was super cool.
Then when you're in his stomach, you can actually grab the gun and you can shoot him from inside to make him explode. I thought that was dead cool.
Well, and that was easily the coolest animation in the whole game, because it's not a cutscene, but they did such a good job of animating the fluidity of his guts exploding. And when he dies, the skin falls down over Andy, and like they actually animate Andy pulling it back and stepping out from it.
Yeah.
All in game.
Then you get attacked by shadows and probably die, so you have to do it again. Yay!
Yeah, that was really cool. I really enjoyed that little bit. I mean, it's kind of a common trope, but still, it was really neat. But at this point, you run into the pink dude again, and now Andy suddenly wants to work together with him. Like, there's just this really weird switch, and okay, you just tried to imprison me, to now I'm going to work with you to restore the stones.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. Don't know what happened there.
The next bit was super obnoxious, where you have to go and collect all the pieces of the stone.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
There's they're just hidden around in different parts of the level, and you have to kick them back and forth through this little maze thing. Get them back down onto the bridge. Once you get all the pieces down, pink dude sees that there's one more piece on the bridge down below. So Andy's like, all right, I'm going to go get it. Once Andy leaves, this dude kicks Whiskey into a black hole.
Yep. So it's his betrayal. But then he gets squashed by a boulder.
Where did that come from?
But that was brutal.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it got to really close up on his eyes. His eye just pops.
Oh, it was awful. I'm sure he showed up later, though, didn't he? Even though he got crushed.
No, I think he's dead at this point.
Oh, right.
The final boss battle in this, I mean, the Heart of Darkness dude just kind of shows up out of nowhere, and it's like, you never really know who the final boss is going to be or why he's the final boss. I just feel like when they made this game, they're like, okay, this is a cool level, this is a cool level, this is cool. Let's make this really racist tribe of people, and then let's...
have a stone elder.
Yeah, and we need to have a big bad guy. So let's just kind of mishmash all this together. And it works on most levels, but you definitely don't play this game for the story. The final boss was super frustrating. I don't know if I was the only one that struggled with it, but it took me a good 15, 20 tries.
No, 3 or 4, I think. It's just basically the last boss is you have to fight loads of shadows with your electricity gun while also dodging the boss's attacks. You don't actually attack the boss. You just have to get to the right.
Yes, and get that last stone.
Yeah.
But there are so many shadows that you either A, get overwhelmed, or B, don't see when he shoots his fire out, because when he shoots to the only way he attacks you is he shoots a fireball onto the level, and it rolls out 2 balls in both directions, and you have to double jump over them. So either you're not paying attention, or you double jump at the wrong time and land down on the fire. And that's usually what happened. But once you get to the third screen, there are armored warriors thrown into the mix. So not only are you fighting 25, 30 specters, you're avoiding the Heart of Darkness's flame balls. You're also avoiding the flame thrown from the armored warriors, and then they also throw fireballs. So you're either double jumping, or ducking while trying to shoot all of these people, and making sure you don't exponentially increase the number of armored warriors.
Yeah, that was tricky.
It got a little obnoxious. But at the end, it kicks off this big cutscene where the Heart of Darkness basically just dies.
So is he the Heart of Darkness?
I think so.
I thought the Heart of Darkness was the whole tornado thing they had going on.
I have no idea. The story made 0 sense.
No, I don't know what was happening.
But back to my original point earlier in the game, where this is all just in Andy's head, after everything comes back together and you've beaten the boss, it reappears to Andy in his treehouse sitting inside of his little spaceship contraption. And his mom comes up and is like, oh, hey, it's getting late. Time for dinner. So the reason I think it's in his head is because at the beginning of the game... Oh. Wait for it. It's 10 o'clock.
So I'm going to do it 10 times, is it?
Thanks, John Wayne.
Excellent.
The reason I think it's in his head is because at the beginning of the game, he takes off in this spaceship, flies to the land of darkness, and crashes, and his ship is destroyed. But now he's back in his treehouse, and his ship is perfectly fine. So I think he was just sitting there, and he was having this imagination spell. The classic kid does poorly in school because his imagination is too big.
Bit of a cop-out, isn't it?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I don't think so. I think you're dumb.
I think you're dumb.
Well, we're both dumb, so I guess we agree on that.
Yes.
Impressions, Daniel.
Impressions. Well, frustrating, but worth playing, I feel.
I definitely enjoyed it. I actually, for the frustrating points in it, I really enjoyed playing through this game. Because
I enjoyed the cinematic quality a lot. I thought for the time it's an extremely well made game.
Oh yeah. It's not long. I think I did it in under 5 hours.
Yeah. And consider it's 2 discs as well. I mean, so there's not a lot of content there.
No. Definitely worth playing.
It's worth playing alone just for the retarded stoned elder.
Oh man. Or just watch that cutscene. I'll see if we can post it. I really kind of wish they would put it out on PSN to make it a little bit more accessible.
Yeah, because it's weird that it's not on PSN. I wonder if there's been some kind of dispute or something. Because that's the kind of game that should be on there. But
Oh, okay, hold on. So I was looking at some analysis of the ending of this game. And if you recall, there's a cutscene afterwards where it shows the amigos finding the wreckage of Andy's ship with the servant. So you're right, the servant didn't die. He showed up again. He's tied up being harassed, and that there reveals the fact that Andy's adventure was not imaginary.
unless he's still imagining it.
He's imagining that it didn't happen imaginarily. You like that word? Imaginarily?
Imaginarily. Yeah, it's a good one, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's imaginary. Jeeves, right into Merriam-Webster. Have him add another word.
I must say, what I didn't like about this game was the lack of pottery.
Quite. There could have been a bit more cheese to it as well.
Oh yes,
Perhaps
not enough cheese.
Perhaps a fine.
Plenty of snots, but no brie.
I was going to say perhaps a fine brie, maybe a nice gouda or feta.
Ew, a gouda.
Topped with some fresh chunks of mozzarella.
Ew, not cheddar. Gosh darn cheddar.
Need a nice sharp cheddar. In the end, I give it a good. It was good. It was worth playing.
It was good.
Good.
This was good. Eric Peterson.
That's the Daniel Curtis. That's the Daniel Curtis review. It was good. Not shite.
That's people want to know. They don't want buzzwords. They just need to know if shite, if good. Right, a new scale for Factory Sealed Relives, shite or good. There's no in between.
Okay. We just add another.
I'm gonna make 2 new graphics. I'm gonna make one for shite and one for good.
Please do.
I will.
What I suppose we should bring up the schedule next week is Undertale with Matt Ernie.
Yeah.
Our Patreon supporter who chose the reward of picking the game to play and joining us on the show to talk about it.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, which I'm sure a lot of you probably do, patreon.com/Factory Sealed. And you can see, apparently they switched our page.
I'm not even going to say it.
What, that was a sweet segue?
No, I'm not going to say it.
Why? Because it was bad?
No, I'm just not saying it.
Oh. That reward... Oh, man, we got so many rewards. So many.
We got so many good things for all of you.
So many. We need to give... I think next week we're going to give away a copy of Undertale as well. So...
Giveaways are incoming.
And
get some.
I think as it stands, most of the giveaway winners have been Patreon supporters because...
It's not rigged.
It's not at all. And if it is, we need to take Tom out to a back alley and break his knees.
Jeeves, fetch the crutches.
Jeeves, bring me my bat. Every tier gets you, every dollar gets you extra entries into digital giveaways.
We like to collect your tears in a jar.
No, TEIR, not TEAR.
Right.
Or T.
Okay.
Sorry, TIER.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. You get extra entries into digital giveaways. So Brianna's won a few already because she's a Patreon supporter. You don't have to. I mean, we're still going to give this crap away for free.
Yeah, because we're nice like that.
Yeah. Well, Daniel.
Hello.
Thank you for showing up today.
It's all right. Sorry that my internet took a massive shit as usual.
Have you gotten any more headway on getting new internet?
Looking at it when we get back from Australia.
That's like a month and a half.
Yeah, but I'm not here, so it won't matter, will it?
Yeah, because your internet's probably still going to make our show sound like garbage.
Okay. Yeah, you still have to call me and I'll accept just to ruin the call.
I mean, the show's going to increase in quality and people are going to be like, what the hell? This isn't the factory sealed we know. It sounds too good.
No, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. We can just take clips of your internet being really garbage and drop it in.
There's probably an entire section you could do like that.
What? And then that's what it would be. Yeah. Huh? All right, Dan, where can we find you on Twitter?
On the Twitter, you can find me at Frosted Sloth.
You can find me at Honest Pizza. Hopefully next week we will have a full crew. Actually, we better. Like, flat out better. Tom will be back from America Land. He sent me a sweet picture when he was in San Francisco. He bought a hat that says USA, and he had some glasses. I think he sent the picture to all of us, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. When he was here with me, he bought a camera. So wherever we went, I would take pictures of him and his girlfriend. But when he wasn't paying attention, I would take pictures when he was... Put another tally on that shot there.
Sorry, Tom.
When he wasn't looking, I would take pictures of the American flag. So after we parted ways, he was looking through his pictures. He's like, oh, those are some sweet pictures of the American flag. And it started something, so every time he sees a flag, he takes a picture of it now.
Oh, no.
So fully Americanized him.
Oh.
But he's got some glasses, too, some American flag glasses. And
oh, you look stylish.
yeah, he's part American now. So I'm looking forward to hearing about his adventures next week. So next Sunday, the 3rd. That's going to do it for this week. Daniel, any final thoughts?
Amigo!